everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I am the Darklight Emissary, and this episode is going to start a new series on the legions, and specifically, the battle tactics on each legion. And this episode is going to start on the 20th Legion, the Alpha Legion. We will reverse the order from the brief overviews on each legion previously, going from the last to the first this time. So the Alpha Legion, I wanted to start partially with them because they are one of the most unique legions during the Great Crusade and onwards. This legion is unique in their style in that they rarely deploy as a full legion. You may never even know you are up against a Alpha Legion force the entire time they are deployed against you. The last thing you may ever see is their eye lenses coldly bearing down on you and a bolter that ends your existence. You may never have even heard of the Imperium, or their Emperor, or the Great Crusade, and your civilization will be in a smoking heap, flexible and malleable, for the expeditionary fleet that arrives, who are also completely unaware that the Alpha Legion was ever present, or caused the calamity that has befallen the people on a given world. The Alpha Legion is a legion that tends to employ many human agents. They will recruit normal people from a world and use them in operations, often more so than the Marines themselves, or even in support of the Marines. They tend to value individual human lives more so than other legions, at least from my observations. The Alpha Legion does have human serfs, but they also train humans in espionage and other specialized roles in much greater numbers than the other legions do. One of the great examples of the Alpha Legion in action is the Alpharius Primarch novel. They deployed to a world and infiltrate onto the world with a single squad. They intercept and ambush the main leader of the world, moving in a convoy. They then left evidence that a rebel force was the ones responsible for killing this leader. They then jammed the world's communications with a looping message from this old rebel force that caused further destabilization and outright civil war on the planet. Not a single citizen, except for those unfortunate bodyguards of the world leader, saw a space marine or knew they were even in the crosshairs of the Alpha Legion. Eventually, an expeditionary fleet of the Great Crusade arrived at this planet, ripe for compliance with no standing army able to resist them. And not even the expeditionary fleet themselves were aware that the Alpha Legion had ever been present on this world ahead of them. Another unique trait to the Alpha Legion is why there are ranks like Captain and Sergeant. Ranks do not hold sway over overall operational need. A captain may play the part of a line marine if it is called for whatever reason. Alpharius has taken part of operations where a captain was acting as Alpharius on the mission, for example. The operation always takes precedent over any individual member of the Legion's position. It really isn't known exactly when someone's rank exactly matters in the Alpha Legion, now that I think about it. The Alpha Legion tends to pay less respects or need for a rigid hierarchy of absolute command, unlike some of their brethren. This goes all the way back to recruitment for the Legion. Aspirants are assigned together in a squad, and the entire squad must pass the trials as a squad. If one of the members of the squad fails, then the rest of the squad is considered a failure too. In this way, they are taught from the very beginning that the whole of the Legion matters, not individuals. But this is interesting in that in the end, each Legionnaire is often given a more singular responsibility, sometimes at any given time, compared to other legions, where the rank is what you do, and that is it. You play your role, and that's it. In the Alpha Legion, you may be asked to lead an operation, while the actual leader does not even if they outrank the line marine. They are the only legion out of the 20 that operate in this way. Grandstanding and heroics have no place in the Alpha Legion. And now that I think about it, I'm not sure what stands out for senior leaders in elevating future leaders into leadership roles for this legion. It is never really explained how they do that for this legion, since everyone is cross-trained to fulfill many of the roles they all play. This helps greatly during operations, since if a leader is killed in combat, the operational effectiveness of the rest of the unit is largely unaffected by this. A great example of this takes place after the Heresy, during the Scouring era. The Ultramarines Legion receive intelligence on a possible location on Alpharius. Robot Goleman himself deploys against this supposed brother. They reach Alpharius, and Robot supposedly kills him in combat here. The Ultramarines, for some reason, think that with the supposed death of their Primarch, that they would retreat or otherwise show signs of psychological lashback for such a loss. But the Alpha Legion counterattacked as if nothing had changed, and the Ultramarines were greatly battered as they made a retreat out of the stronghold that the Alpha Legion was still jealously inhabiting, as if nothing had changed at all. The motif or symbol of the Alpha Legion is the Hydra after all, meaning that if you cut off one head, more will grow in its place, ever shifting, ever avoiding a death blow that more rigid structures, while stronger in a more straightforward sense, can suffer overall damage if certain leaders are removed from the structure of command. Another great example of Alpha Legion at work is during the early part of the Horus Heresy, during the Drop Site Massacre. The Raven Guard Legion was one of the 3 Loyalist Legions that was ground down to almost nothing on that brutal battlefield, but they were the ones who made it out with the least casualties, or so they thought. Corax led a group of survivors, and they somehow made it off that world. Little did they know, however, that some of their brothers were no longer who they claimed to be. The Alpha Legion had recovered some of the bodies of retreating Raven Guard, and removed their faces and surgically placed them onto their own men. Those men then were sent to take the places of the dead men, and thus infiltrated the Raven Guard for a time. Corax himself was not able to detect this infiltration until it was much too late. As previously mentioned, the greatest importance to the Alpha Legion is that a operation be completed once they are set to complete it. A great example of this is when a Alpha Legion outpost on a secret asteroid was compromised. There was a loyalist spy there leaking information. Omegon himself deployed along with a squad to wipe the colony out, including any Alpha Legionnaires present on the base. Nothing was left to chance. The entire base must die. They succeeded in setting bombs and destroying the asteroid utterly, and it was revealed that Omegon was just another Marine pretending to be one of the Primarchs. They went down with the asteroid, ensuring that whoever the spy was, they were consumed along with the rest of them in fire. The operation mattered most in this scenario, and always does, to the Alpha Legion. On the rare occasion the Alpha Legion deploys as a legion, they operate much like other legions do. This is probably where rank structure matters most, and leaders are more openly giving commands to captains and captains of their companies. They use armored columns, close air support, orbital strikes, everything a normal legion uses. The Alpha Legion will unleash upon their enemies just the same. The biggest difference is, by the time you see that grand army arrayed against you, you are kneecapped, with no hope of even standing to fight against them. Your army will be in ruins before a Land Raider ever has caused a fire upon you. I can't think of a time where I have seen the Alpha Legion truly deploy as a legion, because they so often operate in a way where that is seen as a waste and not efficient or needed, despite the dishonor some of their brethren see it as. Their most common deployments are in splintered squads behind enemy lines, deploying esoteric, Xenos, and other weird technologies, anything to get the job done behind enemy lines, so that when the time comes to decapitate the enemy, they need simply push a little bit, and the whole foundation crumbles into dust, with only maybe the vague silhouette of an Astartes shimmering and melting into nothing, as any indication the Alpha Legion was there at all. And so this has been a bit about the tactics and structure of the Alpha Legion. As always, please leave a like and a comment if you'd like to. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more of this content. Up next will be the 19th Legion next. As always, bring your light into the dark places, and I hope to see you in the next video. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you.